is hope. And hope is something that God wants to bring into everybody's heart and into everybody's life. There's nobody, do you know anybody who doesn't need hope? Because I don't need hope. Hope's good for you, but I don't need it. Hope is amazing stuff. And again, just using examples about hope. I mean, for people who are into football, I was watching Liverpool against West Brom yesterday. Liverpool absolutely smashing West Brom to pieces. But West Brom didn't lose hope. And they pulled a goal back and made it 2-1. And you could just see their hope increasing. Hope is something that's really important in our lives. And without hope, I don't believe we can really function. And like I say, it's the hope in Jesus, the hope in His resurrection that is the ultimate hope for us all as Christians. But there is another verse as well, and I did put that up on the thing. And this is one that we've talked about quite a lot, Jeremiah chapter 29. And this is one that we're looking at for our whole growing in God thing. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a what? A hope and a future. That is what God's heart is for each one of us. Plans to give you a hope and a future. So if you're a bit nervous about, again, I don't want to get too deep into God, I don't want to get too involved in God, I'll just keep my distance. What are we keeping our distance from? We're keeping our distance from somebody who wants to give us hope and wants to give us a future. I don't want to keep my distance from that. And I haven't in my life, and if I could have my life again, I wouldn't. Again, plans to prosper you, plans not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and to give you a future. And that's what our growing in God is all about. So another little advert for that. But hope just comes into all areas of life, and I think one area of absolute hopelessness is when somebody doesn't have a roof over their head, doesn't have somewhere that they can call home. There's a whole lot of hopelessness in that situation. And I think the thing that made me happiest this week is hearing about Howard. I'm sure it made you happy too. But Howard this week, after a number of months of being homeless, has been housed. And that is absolutely brilliant. So praise God for that. We've been working quite hard as a church and with the Salvation Army to help that happen down at Food Bank. So it's kind of people working together to bring hope. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? And today we've got Kevin with us. Kevin's really carrying that mantle, I think, about hope and about hope for people who are homeless, because he's going to be telling us about his bus project, which I think is absolutely incredible. But just before that, you may know that John and Jenny and their son Elliot went on a, should we call it a sleepover? A sleep out. Sleep out, which was organised at Appley Park at Ryde. Do you want to tell us a bit about it? I want to ask you a bit about it. Come here so you can answer into the microphone. I just want to ask you, John, Jenny's going to hide away in the background, but just say in a few words how you felt when you were out there on that night.
Well, vulnerable, because people coming past shouting out rude words to the homeless, thinking we were homeless shouting rude words to us. So you can see how vulnerable they are out there.
Yeah, so it's not just a case of being cold or wet, but it's the vulnerability that goes with it as well. So people are actually shouting abuse at you as well. So there's that side to being homeless as well. There's the stigma that goes with it. So how was the night? Did you sleep much?
I slept for a couple of hours. That's about it, really. It was cold and weather kept alright, really. But it's just coldness keeps you awake.
Yeah, so not only having that lack of hope, but physically the difficulty of sleeping as well.
Yeah, just being aware that there are people about all night walking about, so you are vulnerable to that.
So suddenly, like at night, things become like more dangerous almost. And,
Definitely.
and you were saying the sounds you were hearing were like putting you on edge. And,
Yeah.
so sleep's going to be difficult, isn't it? And there's a whole world of that going on. And on the Isle of Wight, through doing food bank down here, we've learnt a lot more and met a lot more people in that situation. And our heart goes out to them. I have to say, thank you, John. I have to say that before Andy and Ruth started doing the homeless shelter, which operated through the winter, and now Kevin's doing this bus project, my heart used to go out when we gave people who were homeless a couple of bags of food and sent them into the rain.
Yeah.
We were doing our bit as food bank, but there had to be more, didn't there? So here's the more. Kevin, come and tell us about what you're doing, Kevin.
Oh, that's trying to load, isn't it? Can you hear me without it? Yeah. Obviously it's too loud. Right, so I'm Kevin Newton. I'm the founder of the bus shelter IOW. There we go. And our mantra is sleep is only the beginning. Where did it start? It started October last year. I saw a thing on Facebook asking whether we did shoebox for the homeless on the island, and about 30 people replied to it saying no, but wouldn't it be a wonderful idea, but nobody put their hand up and said we'll do it. And I thought, well, I've got an empty garage, a few shoeboxes, I can put them in there, dish them out, it's not a problem. I didn't realise how big the problem was. I ended up needing 320 shoeboxes. That was how many homeless people we had. That's not just rough sleepers, that's people in hostels, bed and breakfast, some sofa surfers. We did really well, and we got 700 boxes, so we've got enough for this year as well. And then from that, we got given a lot of clothes, 70 bags of clothes from Earl Mountbatten. So we did some free clothing events. Then set up some pay it forward schemes, and then the night shelter closed. And when the night shelter closed, I looked at whether we could get a building, as Andy and Ruth did, but it was too expensive. So I thought outside the box, and my initial thing was to get some 8-foot by 6-foot sheds, really simple, put a 6-foot bunk across, then I got a little living area. The council said that we would need planning permission for it, and said we wouldn't need planning permission if we had wheels on it. So that's why we had the bus. So the bus came from York, and I did what you're not supposed to do, and I bought it off eBay, off pictures. Said if you can bring it down to the island, then we'll have it. So if it makes it all that way, it must be okay. I'm going to rip it out anyhow, so as long as the engine's alright. And it came down to the island, cost me just short of £7,000 to buy it. Quite cheap buses. Double deckers anyway. Yeah. I managed to raise the 7,000 in 2 weeks. A lot of nice smiling to the right people. And that was the sort of pivotal point really, because I thought even if I don't get another penny, at least I can rip it all out inside, put some camp beds in there, and we've got somewhere safe for people this winter. It sort of escalated from there. I thought, well, when we had the night shelter, people would arrive at 7 o'clock at night. They would then leave at 8 o'clock the following morning, wander around town, get wet, come back, fed, bed, out, and it was just that routine for 3 months. And I thought, well, why we've got people staying with us, why not try to improve their lives? So what we're doing is we're going to drive around and collect people. We're going to be based at Carisbrook. We did get a piece of land off Carisbrook Priory, but the council have objected to us putting the bus there. I think it's a bit of NIMBYism, unfortunately. But it's still going to be based at Carisbrook. I just can't say where, because we're just going to arrive. So we're going to drive from Carisbrook to Shanklin, Sandown, Ryde and Newport. to our key areas of homelessness. We're going to pick people up, bring them back, feed them, do whatever they want in the evening. Everybody in bed by 11. And that's really because we're going to have 2 volunteers on all day, so the 2 volunteers need some sleep. And then up at 9 o'clock, which is a lie, up and dressed by 9, having breakfast, and then we're going to get the services on board. We're going to get mental and physical health, drug and alcohol, Samaritans coming on board. We've got somebody who's a life coach doing confidence building. We've got someone helping with reading and writing, and we've got somebody helping with job search. And everybody who comes on board has to be registered with the Isle of Wight Council as homeless, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because the official figures show that there are no homeless people. We all know from Howard that there were. There are about 15 that we know of at the moment who are rough sleepers. In fact, actually, I got a call the other day from the council saying, we'll be giving your name because we believe that you know there are some rough sleepers, and we're going to do a yearly audit. Why they don't know where they are. Each person has to sign up has to register with the council as being homeless. Because the figures show that there aren't any, whenever we apply for funding, like to crisis or shelter, then they tell us that they can't give us any money because there's not a problem on the island. So we need to prove there's a problem. Also, the council can't give us extra money because the central government don't give them because there's no homeless on the island. So we need the figures. It's also what used to happen at the night shelter is that the police would turn up at night. Don't know if there's any police in here. But the police would turn up if they found somebody who was drunk and couldn't tell them where they lived, and they'd say they were homeless. They can't do that on the bus. It's not fair disturbing people at night. Everybody who signs up has to sign up to accept the services, because unless somebody wants to be helped, we can't help them. And also they've got to sign up to do a day of voluntary work. Initially that's going to be at Aspire and Ryde, but we are going to be opening a charity shop because there isn't a homeless shop on the island, and then they'll be volunteering in the charity shop. And next year around April time we're going to be opening a waste food cafe where we will pay for the setup of it, but the guys will run it, manage it, and then the profits all go to them so they can save for deposits and they've got jobs. One of the key things that's a problem when you're homeless, I forgot to say, I've been homeless for, not now, but I have been homeless in the past for about a year. One of the key problems that we have was if you've not got an address, you can't get benefits, you can't apply for jobs, you can't get medical treatment. It's just a basic thing. So everybody who comes on the bus will have an address. The bus doesn't actually have an address, but we will have PO box numbers. So every bunk has a PO box number. Can we tell you how I got into it? Do you want me to tell you how I got out of being homeless? Yeah. Okay, it's very difficult to get out of being homeless, as Howard knows. Once you're in there, without an address and without money, you soon sort of fall in that downward spiral. Some people take to drink, some to drugs to pass away the days. I didn't, thankfully. I only slept outside, physically outside, a few times. Most of the times I'd sleep inside blocks of flats. In blocks of flats they usually have a security door and they have an outer door, and I sleep inside that in a porch. I got out of it by breaking the law, sort of. I'd seen a terrace, it was up north in Bolton, you can tell from this foreign accent. I was keeping an eye on this house that looked as if it was derelict. The curtains were dirty, or net curtains, they were dirty, ripped. I could peer over the top of the curtains and could see floorboards inside were all rotten, so nobody was living there. And I kicked the back door in, and it wasn't fit to sleep in, there was rats and all sorts in there, but I used it as an address. So I got my post delivered there. I applied for jobs and managed to get an interview, and I spent some money to buy some decent clothes. Got washed in Tesco and McDonald's, the usual places, and I went for an interview and I got a job. I was then homeless for 2 weeks whilst I had a job. Nobody knew, hopefully. And I got paid 2 weeks in front, 2 weeks behind, and then managed to put some money down and get somewhere to live. And it's not the perfect thing to break into somewhere, but you have to do what you have to do. I've talked to somebody recently, and he said when he was homeless, his friend let him stay at his house, his flat, and a credit card arrived, Capital One, £500 limit, and he withdrew the £500 and put it down as a deposit on somewhere. His friend eventually found out because his bill turned up, and then he paid him back. But it's what you have to do. So that people don't have to do that now, we've got the bus shelter. We will provide accommodation for 16 people. Originally it was going to be 20, but when we strip the bus out, some of the things on the bus that we can't move have made it that we've got less space inside. So we've got 16, we've got 14 bunks upstairs and 4 beds, 4 seating areas which turn into beds downstairs. We've got a full kitchen. I did prepare a slideshow to show how it was all developing, but unfortunately the Wi-Fi is not working today, so I can't show you. But you'll be able to see it soon. It will be ready by a week on Monday.
Wow.
It's taken me 6 months. I've done the majority of the work on my own. I have had help every now and again. I've forgotten what my family looked like. Yeah, it's been hard work. It is. And from when I finish here, I'll be going back to the bus and doing some more work today. Lots of little jobs that need doing. It's made it more difficult trying to get things, simple things like mattresses. The bunks are 6 foot by 2.5 foot, which is so decent size. But trying to buy a mattress for that you can't. So we've got to buy a foam, and that's had to come from the mainland, and that's cost like £350 just to get it delivered. I know, ridiculous. My initial cost was £35,000. It was based on other people that had done buses but hadn't done exactly what we'd done. So there was no sort of definite figure. I raised so far 19,500. The finish isn't as wonderful as I want it, but as we all do when we have a house, we do it up as we go along, and that's what we'll do. The important thing is that it will provide warmth, comfort, safety for our rough sleepers. There'll be no reason for anyone to sleep rough on the island. And this is the first. It's the first in the world, as far as we know. We can't find another one. There are buses that people sleep on, and there are buses that are used as soup kitchens, and buses that are used as meeting rooms, but none that have it all on together. And that's what ours is. It's a really simple solution. It is. I'm sure there's going to be some downfalls. It's been a bit of a roller coaster doing it. There's been massive highs where things have gone right, and then massive lows, and then people let us down. But we're getting there, and like I say, it will be ready on the 31st of October. It then needs to be reclassified as a mobile home rather than a bus, and then we can get insured. We can move it around. It takes about 10 days, but can take longer to get it reclassified. If it's not reclassified in time, then we'll get somebody to move it on trade plates to the place at Carriagebrook, and we'll start using it. It just means we'll not be able to drive it around. Any questions? Oh, sorry, I'm not just cuddling this teddy. Sorry, this teddy is the face of the bus shelter rather than my face. This is Barnabas, and if anybody knows, Barnabas is the great comforter. I didn't know that when we named him Barney Bus. My son's called Barney, I'm the boss, so that's where Barney Bus came from. But yeah, it works well.
Thank you very much.